Thank you, Vera. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Vera, for inviting me to participate in this discussion. Today, I'm going to speak more about my line of expertise as a maritime archaeologist in Egypt. I've been working in Egypt and in the Eastern Mediterranean region for the last 10 years, mainly in Egypt, in Cyprus, and in Lebanon. Um, uh, but I've been focusing more lately on the Red Sea, and specifically with two things that are really related together: is the marine environment and the underwater culture heritage, and how to exploit the two together at the same time without hurting the environment or also disturbing the underwater culture heritage. Next. So the first shipwreck that we have is an 18th century shipwreck, an Ottoman shipwreck that was bringing a large cargo of spices from the Indian Ocean, a number of tableware, thousands and thousands of different porcelain cups and plates and tableware that was going through the Red Sea, the whole Red Sea, as we've seen in the previous presentation, through Bab el-Mandab and then through the Red Sea all the way to, it was supposed to be all the way up to Suez, and then it would be taken by an overland route to Alexandria, and then from Alexandria it would go to Istanbul at the end. But sadly, it hit a reef somewhere in Safaga, which is about 60 kilometers to 40 kilometers southern of Hurghada, and it sank there under about 32 meters of water. And this was one of the very first underwater archaeological missions in the Red Sea. And this is our only underwater archaeological site that is protected by the Egyptian law for the protection of underwater antiquities. And sadly, there is more to be explored in the Red Sea, but nothing has been done in the past years to do so. Next slide, please. So as you can see in the map, there is a number of targets in the southern Red Sea region of Egypt. These are all identified ancient shipwrecks. However, they are not protected or recorded by the Ministry of Underwater Antiquity, the Ministry of Antiquity in Egypt, and they are not. That's why they are not protected by the Egyptian law just yet. So there have been a lot of dispersing of the cargoes of these shipwrecks across the years. Divers would take souvenirs from the diving sites with them. And a lot of these sites have been deteriorating through the ages. A lot of the, a large part of the diving community in Egypt have been very active in recording this changes over time. So there are a lot of photographs of these shipwrecks or the cargo or the remaining of the cargo of these shipwrecks that are well documented, and you can see how deteriorated these shipwrecks have gone through in the last 2 or 3 decades. The only way of trying to protect all of these cultural heritage sites is by using marine spatial planning. It's basically having a full scan of all the known underwater heritage sites and trying to link them to the diving hotspots for the touristics diving hotspots in the Red Sea. and trying to manage to incorporate the two together in a way of an ecosystem that doesn't harm either the underwater cultural heritage or the environment. Next slide, please. Yeah, so these are some photographs from the 1995 expedition to excavate the remains of the underwater shipwreck of Sadana Island shipwreck. And currently in Saudi Arabia, there is a twin shipwreck of the same provenance and also the same date, being studied by the underwater antiquities services in the Saudi Arabia. Next slide, please. And the first photograph is what I really love. It's a number of Roman amphora that have been sitting underwater on a depth of about 60 meters in the deep south of the Egyptian Red Sea, near the Sudanese border. And as you can see, corals have been growing on top of these hard amphoras. So now it became one, both the heritage, the ancient heritage with the natural heritage also. So actually, this is an open site for divers, but it's not legalized by any way. All the activities on it is it's not legalized by the Ministry of Antiquities. So sadly, some of the amphoras have been removed or salvaged from the site throughout the time. So what I'm suggesting here is trying to collaborate between the Antiquities Department and the diving community in the Red Sea with the Ministry of Environment, and trying to come up with a plan that is not segmented like it is now. So the Ministry of Antiquity would have its own plan. The Ministry of Environment would have its own plan to protect or designate protected area for underwater heritage or underwater marine life. But I think the key for the future is trying to merge the two together and work together by redefining the spaces that is being occupied by both underwater cultural heritage and marine biological heritage or marine biology diversity sites, and trying to to come up with a plan that allows the improvement of the situation of both, because we had a very big impact on the reefs lately in the Red Sea. I've been diving in the Red Sea lately, in like a month or 2 months ago, and trying to do an assessment of different reefs, the very important reefs that are attracting a lot of tourists. And we found that the reefs have been having a lot of problems from unregulated dives, snorkelers. A lot of damage have been done to the reef lately. And sadly, without understanding how deep the problem is, we will not be able to produce any solutions in the future. So the solution is trying to build up a big, let's say, a library of using marine spatial planning, and trying to plan hotspots and diving spots to both recreational divers and professional divers who are interested to explore the underwater life in Egypt, and also trying to do some outreach activities to the diving community in Egypt, trying to spread the knowledge of both the marine biology side and the underwater culture side, trying to bring these two together in one place. And by doing this, the diving community would be able to actually protect their livelihood by preserving it and not allowing any illegal diving or illegal activities on both site types. And next slide, please. And I think this is it. Thank you very much for listening, and I'm looking forward for more discussion today about the topic. Thank you.